Hey guys, what's up? How are you? Welcome back. It's me, Hebot. I want to do a quick, lower that. I want to do a quick video talking about something that's been on my mind for a little while now, and I'm going to speak in general terms, but I'm also going to use a friend of mine as a big example. And basically the title of this video is "There is no reasoning with PlayStation fanatics because they are too sensitive, ignorant, in denial, and pretty much stupid and dumb. There's no reasoning with them. Absolutely not." And, you know, of course, I'm not trying to speak about a friend of mine's, you know, as an example, saying that he's a bad person. But definitely, he is so blinded with shades in his eyes that he goes to a very big length and extreme of, you know, retardation, basically, or something that's just unheard of, unseen, because of a console or because of a company that does nothing for him. And even though they don't do anything for him, just like they don't do for other fanatics on the Sony camp, you know, they still keep on insisting that no, they're getting greatness and that they have the best, and don't want to look at the bigger picture, right? But expect the company to get bigger, or expect the company to get better, or expect the company to have growth, and don't understand why things are being done. And I'm not talking about actual PlayStation fans that are respectful, that are actually logical, that you can sit down and speak with and conversate, and they'll actually listen and hear you out and come to the ideas and to agreements and agree with you, and sometimes disagree, but always being logical, right? I'm not talking about those type of fans, the real Sony fans. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, again, as I said already, the fanatics and how far in their lengths go. For example, like a friend of mine is a very big Sony fanatic, and every time I speak something to him and tell him something, even though I'm showing him with proof and evidence of what's going on and try to explain to him why it's happening, he continues to call me a liar, even though I'm not lying to him, right? And that just kind of shows the fanaticism that they have. Because if someone's friends with you, right, and you're good friends with that person, what would be the reasoning in that person to lie to you about something if they're supposed to be your friend? It doesn't matter if you agree or don't agree. It doesn't matter if you like a certain console versus another one. It really doesn't matter. And this is the type of behavior that you see all the time on social media, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram. You see the fanaticism the same way, and I could apply it in real life with my real friend, because this has nothing to do with characters being created as influencers on YouTube, or because you don't know people on YouTube, on social. It's different. I'm talking about real life friends. This person is a person that I've been very kind to. I've helped him in every way, shape, or form possible. He was homeless like 2 or 3 times. Was there for him. And again, it's not because I'm throwing what I did to him in his face, or to try to put it like I'm throwing it in his face. It's basically to show how much I care about the person as far as being a friend, that I've been there for him through thick and thin and through hardship. And he puts all that to the side for the Sony fanaticism, and will call me a liar and disrespect me and not hear me out when I'm speaking to him. Even if he brings up a subject of something, right? If he brings up a subject talking about something, he brings it up, I give him the answers, and then he doesn't want to hear the answers and still says something either crude or rude or selfish or childish or ignorant, right? And explaining to him, it goes into one ear, out to the other. That's the problem with a Sony fanatic. And let's give examples here. For example, when you tell a Sony fanatic, right, Microsoft bought studios, right? Because they didn't have a lot of studios like, let's say, Nintendo and Sony has through the years. They didn't really buy studios, and some of the ones that they had, the contracts ended and they went and parted ways because they were independent. Most of the time, you explain to them, right, that it's because they need to build a library because they have Game Pass, they have services, and because they want to have more bigger AAA games, as you know, for future iterations of consoles and you know, and for their services. And you explain that to them, and what they tell you is no. They just want to monopolize the industry. They want to own everything because they have money and they're taking advantage of the situation. That's an example of a Sony fanatic mentality. Even though the truth of the matter is, Microsoft didn't have studios the way Sony did, right? A Sony fanatic, you tell him, you explain to them, like my friend brought up a subject, oh, Microsoft bought Mixer, and they closed it down, right? Like it was a bad thing. When, first off, Microsoft doesn't have a streaming service, right? YouTube is owned by Google. YouTube, right, has put YouTube streaming on PlayStation 4 and PS5 now for the entire generation. It's non-existent on Xbox. Why is that? Who knows? Google is a competitor of Microsoft. And they haven't come to terms. They haven't put it on there. They're the ones that service their apps. I remember when Mike Ybarra, when he was still at Xbox, somebody asked him the question, and he said it's the company that services their apps on consoles or wherever they have it, on TV, whatever the case may be, right? And basically, he said if they don't service it, it's their responsibility. It's because they choose not to put it there, right? Now, Microsoft, this young kid created Mixer at a high quality, low bandwidth, with 4K and all that bells and whistles and things like that of that nature. And they did that because they wanted to have a service to, you know, offer to their Xbox fans, right? They can stream their games right out the box as well, instead of just having Twitch, right? Because even though Twitch is like the leader in a lot of the categories, the way it's set up on console, it's really not great. It's very lackluster. It's still like 720p. You gotta stop, go into Twitter or Twitch rather, set it up, pause your game. You get the people get a pause screen, and then then when you get out, then you go back into the game, and they don't have like control. You know, they don't give you a lot of accessibility. It's not really easy. It's very hard and cumbersome to really set up. Right? It's really archaic. It's old. So I explained to my friend, right, or I explained to a pony, right, or a fanatic, right. They bought Mixer from this young kid. They paid, I think it was $1 billion, and they put it on the console. And throughout the whole entire generation, since they put it on, it didn't grow. Even during the pandemic, when everything was growing, because more people were streaming, more people were doing things. Because YouTube streaming, even Facebook streaming, Twitch streaming, or Discord, all those are very big. They have a very big audience. Because Facebook has millions and millions of people. Same thing with Twitch. Same thing with YouTube. Everybody's on YouTube. Millions and billions of people are on YouTube. So it as soon as they see YouTube streaming, they know what it is. Plus on the consoles, it's made very easy, even though the resolution is not really that great, but it's still pretty easy and accessible. So and so when you tell them this and they go, well, they closed it because they weren't making money and they were not going to keep investing money in it to lose money, right? Because nobody's really using it on the Xbox platform. Because a lot of people on Xbox ecosystem, whether they were on PC or on the Xbox console, they still use, Twitch. They still use YouTube streaming, Discord, StreamYard now. That's what they use. They don't use Mixer, right? And the reasoning why they didn't use Mixer is because it's still new and because they didn't have an audience there. They just they're not going to leave where they have a big audience, right? To go find another audience in another platform. So it makes sense that they would not go there. So Mixer, the idea behind it was to get a bunch of new people trying to build a platform so they can get an audience there. Like myself, because I'm not really big, let's say, in the YouTube scene or on StreamYard, as an example. And so that's why I chose to go on Mixer, right? Plus the quality, it was so good. It's the Hebot mug, sponsored by Heba himself and my boy Thomas Schultz. Shout outs to him. So anyway, basically, when I tell him that, right, this is the mentality of a fanatic. He goes, no, they closed it because it was garbage and nobody wanted to use it. That is the type of mentality and thought process of a Sony fanatic. Even though you're telling them and showing them the proof and the reasoning why, you can show them all the proof in the world. In their mind, it's still, no, it's because Microsoft is garbage and they don't care. Another example. When yesterday we talked about, he asked me a question, for example, right? About Dolby Atmos, why you have to pay for it on headsets. And I explained to him, right? And I explained to ponies obviously on social as well, and fanatics, that headsets do not have Dolby Atmos built in because it's built in with receivers, right? So when you put on a headset, it works with an app and software. Dolby is owned by Dolby, Dolby Atmos. It's not owned by Microsoft. It's not owned by Riggs. It's not owned by Razer. It's not owned by Lucid Sound. It's not owned by SteelSeries. None of those. It's owned by Dolby. So it's their technology. It's the most expensive audio technology that are available because it's the best and most highest quality, right? The headsets on the Microsoft side that they just made that were wireless support it, but you have to support it through the software, so you have to activate it and pay an admission. Yes, when you buy the headsets, you get 6 months for free right off the bat. But then after that, you have to pay on a monthly fee to them because it's not built in the headsets. And the point of the headsets is that it supports it for $100, and it being such a wireless headset and things like that. And the first thing that came out of his mind was, you see, Microsoft always likes to steal people's money. Mind you, this is coming from the person that is on a Sony platform that doesn't even allow you to save your saves with cloud saving when it's free everywhere, or doesn't allow you to use your SharePlay unless you're under a paywall, right? Or doesn't allow you to preserve your games of all those generations behind with actual real high quality upgrades, and not just a resolution bump or not just a frame rate bump, right? For just an example to give you guys, and the games that you're playing, as far as the PlayStation 4 games, it's only a handful. Like, it's not every single game that works, and it's not every single game that works correctly. Set by Sony themselves, right? This is the type of mentality a fanatic does. Just like yesterday, or the past week, I'm explaining to him as well that Sony is turning off communities. They're turning off the ability to have movies and streaming through the actual console. They're turning off their party chat system the way it was built before. Now they're closing down the stores for PS3, Vita, and PSP. When they don't have backwards compatibility for PS3 or PS Vita or PSP, they don't even have that. But they're shutting down the stores. Just closing down all your limitations, even if you own the console. Because if you own a PS3, the store closes and you don't have those games downloaded, you're never going to access them ever again, even if you had paid for them, because you can't download them on the console because they're not there. The store doesn't exist. Just like Nintendo did with the Switch, and now they're doing with the Wii U, right? So you have to make sure you have everything downloaded or bought if you didn't buy it. So, explaining this to him, that they're doing this because they're trying to cut the fat, because Sony is not a company that's making a lot of profit. They're in the red, meaning they have a worth, but they still owe people, and they still have to pay out people that they, affiliate with or that they own. So being on the red means you still owe something. You're not making profit. Profit is one thing, and making a certain time money is another thing. So when yesterday it came out saying that so far for the first quarter of 2021, that Sony has made the most money as far as dollar sales for the PlayStation, division, immediately everybody ran with it. Him being another one, listening to people without really understanding and knowing that. Now, yes, for this quarter, Sony sold the most so far in the first 3 months of 2021, right? But that does not mean that their division has more worth or value than the Xbox division. For example, the Xbox division is almost $600 billion by itself. Okay, meaning it's almost worth $1 trillion, almost, right? The Sony division only worth $43 billion. Okay, the PlayStation division. Okay, and yes, that is their most profitable division. Not their movies, not their TVs. And because he saw this, he's like, "Oh, you're a liar. You see, you said Sony's having money issues. They just closed Sony Studio Japan. They said it themselves because they were making no money. They're doing changes internally with leaderships and merchandising and marketing people. They let go of a bunch of other people that worked there in their studios and went to Microsoft, right? A big portion. And all these changes are happening because they need to cut the fat because they're bleeding money, okay? They're not making enough profit to sustain, any value, like any profits, like making any money for their pocket that they can actually pocket themselves, okay? Maybe for this quarter, they did because they did well. I think they sold 22 billion over Microsoft and even Nintendo, which were at 11 and 17 billion, something like that. But again, like I said, also remembering that they have more stocks for PlayStation because they were building the consoles, almost over a year and a half ago, as opposed to Microsoft that they had to wait because they were under NDAs with AMD to build this, the complete silicone hardware for the Xbox Series X, even though they said they had it ready almost a year ago as well. Okay, but the changes and features were not all there. So to manufacture it is obviously a lot more because it's got higher end parts. And they're not aftermarket like Sony put on PS5, that they're from other companies that they buy out from them. No, Microsoft is the ones that customize them with AMD, and they're paying it and they're producing them themselves in their factories, which is a big de facto and a big reasoning for those differentiating and disparity and differences in sales. And it's okay, it's good, as long as people are doing well, that's what matters. But the Sony mentality of a fanatic is, you're a liar, they're making more money than Microsoft, so they're worth more than Microsoft. Even though it shows clear as day in their stocks and in the data centers that they take all the numbers that Microsoft is worth 600 billion and Sony's only worth 43 or 47 billion, right? That is what I say when I say the Sony fanatic mentality. And it's a shame because I'm speaking about my friend as an example, because in real life, he's not a person I know from these YouTube thing, from this YouTube influence thing, right? Where you can talk to anybody, and a lot of people, they're not gonna like you because they don't know you, or they're just trolls, or they don't care because they don't know you. This is talking about a person that I know in my real life. In my real life, Christopher Reba, not Heban, right? And this person, for a company that doesn't pay his bills, that didn't help him when he was homeless, as an example, would call me a liar, a proponent of hate and lies, of making fabrications. If a person in your real life, for a company of a game console, right, can behave in this manner, this is almost borderline sickness, where they need mental and physical help. To be quite honest, it's sad. It's a shame, but it's very, very sad, because this person helps me all the time as well with different things. But I would never say he's a liar. I would never disrespect him. I would never make him feel like my friendship with him is not valued, right? Over a console, right? If he says something wrong or dumb or false that is wrong, and I show him the proof of Microsoft, yeah, I say, dude, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about, or that's dumb. You don't know what you're saying. Because he doesn't know. And then when you show him the truth, right, he's still in denial and doesn't want to accept it. He still doesn't want to understand the reality of what's going on, right? Because he sees it as only Sony being popular around the world, and that there's more layers to a company being successful. It's not just because people like it. Yeah, people like it. That doesn't mean that it's doing well internally, right? And that's my whole point of a fanatic versus an actual fan that has logical thinking. And I had to touch base on that because it's been an ongoing thing, for example, with my friend, back and forth for years now. And he doesn't get it. The same way I explained to him, if a Sony fanatic, you tell them they're putting more games on PC because they need to make money, right? And it doesn't affect the console space. And what they say, oh no, they're going to mess up everything. It's not going to be worth anything because now these consoles are not exclusive just to the consoles. No, that's not it at all. If you want them to continue to stay here and be an existing entity and survive as your favorite console and your favorite brand, they need to make those steps to continue to make money so they can be here for the next 10, 20 years. If not, they're going to go away. And if you're really a fan, you're going to understand and be like, oh, okay, I get it. You're not going to be angry. You're not going to take it for the wrong reasons. And that's, again, another example of a difference between a Sony fanatic mentality and the mentality of a fan. A fan will be like, yeah, that does make sense. As long as they make money, it helps us as well as fans and gamers. You see? And that's the difference. So, you know, I hope you guys understood what I try to talk about with this video, because it's happening in social all the time. It's been happening for a long time. They got this completely blinded by the success of PS4 last gen, where they feel and think that Sony is this entity that is unstoppable, that can't be destroyed, or that can't fall down, right, on its knees, and that can actually compete with a behemoth like Microsoft, for example, or even Amazon, that got trillions of dollars versus them having maybe 1 or 2 or 20 billion in the pocket, in the purse as a whole. That's their value as a whole company, meaning their division and, you know, everything they own as far as movies and electronics. Big difference. Okay, because Microsoft with their software and their hardware division and things like Windows, they're over $1 trillion company. Okay, over $1 trillion company. You know, so let me know what you think from your personal experiences with perhaps maybe friends of yours in your real life. If they act so fanatic and crazy and unorthodox and unexpected in real life, the way that I'm experiencing with my friend. And I don't mention his name because it's not to, nobody in my YouTube knows who my friends are in real life, and it's not to try to throw shade at him or embarrass him. It's trying to give you the example of how crazy and out of touch they can get with reality, right? And then they don't accept it, but he wants to act like I'm a fanboy or a fanatic, when I've always spoke to him with logic or proof or the evidence, or just trying to educate him so he knows what's the difference between what's going on and what's being taken out of context, right? Where a lot of YouTube influencers that they like to lie and say one piece of the puzzle and don't explain the other. Like the whole situation with the Dolby thing. Like I explained, you have to pay because they don't own it, but it still doesn't deter that the headset has a great value, being, you know, $100, and it's also, you know, wireless and supports all the highest quality of headphones. And I explained to him that the PlayStation headphones for PS5 does not support that because it's not implemented. They have their own technology, which is the VR Tempest 3D surround. that they created in-house because that was the cheaper method for them to create, so that they can afford it because they did it internally, right? And you explain that, and he's like, oh no, bullshit, you know. And even though I can send them a 40 articles saying it doesn't, you see, that's how dangerous and sad that situation is with that fanaticism from a Sony fanatic. So like I was saying, guys, just let me know down in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like the video. Share it with someone you think might like it. For all those that always rock out with me and make my channel a possibility, as always, my heart belongs to you. Thank you, because without you guys, this platform, whether it's big or small, wouldn't matter, would never exist. And for all those of you that stop in that are new, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you even subscribe, thank you, because it means the world to me. I know you don't have to. You're just a viewer, but you don't have to. But if you did, remember, I consider you part of my family now. So, as always, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram under Hebot Powerful Gamer on Twitter, and Instagram C_respect. Also, as well, if you guys want to find me on any of the gaming consoles, on Xbox Live and Switch, I'm Hebot8 with a capital H and a capital B. And then on the PS4, I'm under Alfel from Scribe. And if you guys ever, you know, from the kindness of your heart, want to help me out, if you have the means to, because you want to help me in some way, shape, or form, it goes a long way, because my channel is not big. I don't have super chats. I don't have 1,000 subscribers. I can't even live stream. I'm very, you know, handcuffed with a lot of things and options. So, you know how to do it. It's all down in the description below. And if you ever want to donate anything that you might want me to, you know, review, take a look at, showcase on my channel, it would be my pleasure. It would be my honor. Just DM me on one of those social platforms, and we'll work out the particulars. Guys, it's a beautiful day. God bless each and every one of you. Be blessed. Be safe. And I hope that my messaging came through without insulting anyone, and you guys got my point. Love you guys, and to the next one is Hebot sign off. Peace. Bye-bye, guys. Peace.